now. Oop. Anyway, hello everyone. We're a little bit late, but hey, it's cool. We was just talking, and so we got really in depth into the conversation of what we're going to be talking to. Hello, you know who I am, and this is of course Miss Trina, and as you have seen, going to be titling this every time her and I get together, called A Second Look, and an opportunity to kind of have a conversation on what I've presented, and get Trina's intake and point of view as well. So Trina, I think it's going to be exciting.
Me too. This book is mind-blowing. The information that you presented yesterday, I was just floored. I was like, oh my goodness, I need this book.
Oh, my wife and I were talking about it. Now, my wife is, when she walked away from Christianity, it's like she had enough of all religion. It's like, don't bring it to me. I don't want to hear it. And this is probably the first time that with herself, she says, this is, she says, I can see this. So anyway, so we're going to get more into it, and I think it's going to be fun. Just invoking favor on everybody. We do that here, and no matter where you are, we just speak favor into your life. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And that's the way it is, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
They do. I read the favor declaration, and people from all over the world just love it. People are finding hope.
No, Wayne, when you were talking yesterday, and they were talking about how nothing new under the sun, and it was like, because we're not asking for anything new. Bingo. And remember, I told you favor, it's always been there, but everybody kind of forgot about it, and nobody's been asking for it. So it's like bringing a brand new vibration or a brand new ray of light or a ray of energy into the construct. And it's simply because you're asking.
Wow. High five, baby. That's all I got to say. I mean,
It's simple, and it's so beautiful, because this stuff really works. And the simplicity of favor, and then how you say favor bless this, favor touch this, favor touch, all the different ways that favor can move through favor. That's like, it's an amazing, powerful concept. It's like all these different opinions are going to be held within the same truth. So stop focusing on the division and the divide and the arguing over words, because we don't understand words the same way.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is so spot on, Trina. And that's what yesterday brought out. I'm go back to the conversation my wife and I were having last night. And I said, hon, I've asked this question for years. Why hasn't God spoken? I mean, if you look at the Bible, and I guess the Quran would probably, if not, then I guess the Mormon Bible would probably be the latest renditions of hearing from a God. But I said, why nothing new? And they told us, you've never asked them.
Yep. And remember, Wayne, when I told you, I've always known I came here to create something new. This is one of my purposes of being born here, was to create something new.
Yes. Yeah. It's helped me in a way in my meditation time, which is becoming more frequent and more intense. Yeah, I know what my mission is. I mean, and I think so many of us do know what our missions are. It's this, that I think, Trina, sometimes we think we're not up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is tough. This is a hard game.
Oh. Coming right before we came on, I invoked favor. I do it before I come on. And I heard my spirit guide say, would you send a baby into a world completely unprotected, exposed? And I said, well, no. And he says, but that's what most people do when they look at crossing over. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's, you know, when you think about it too, that's kind of what we do when we give birth here.
Yeah. It
Because
is, isn't it?
wiped, you don't remember who you are. So you're bringing a wise soul into a construct where it's going to lose all of its consciousness of its memories. It's kind of the same thing in reverse. It's so funny. I'm seeing things now. I see it on the one end, and then I can see it on the opposite end. Expressed differently, but the same. It's the craziest thing. I'm starting to see the merging of the poles of everything being in duality, and seeing a way to sit in the middle of it. The profound thing.
And, you know, the thing I've struggled so deeply with, because I do struggle with it, is what is it, the purpose here? I mean, this is not a fun place. I mean, it really isn't. Right from the get-go, it hurts, you know, being born. Nothing joyful about that. Now, it seems like everyone on the other end of the, you know, is clapping and, you know, oh, congratulations. And the kids going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. And mommy too, sometimes.
Yeah.
What just happened to me too? Yeah. It's crazy trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, speaking of that, you know, my dad's mother died giving birth to him. Mm-hmm. And I keep on thinking, you know, there has to be, in the spirit realm, there's a significance about that when one who is bringing birth into this realm to the point of sacrificing that level to see that life goes forward. Yeah.
You know, when I see that, that's what I see. Like I give you I give you my only begotten son. Mm-hmm. I see like all of us are transferring in and out of these bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
like trading one in for another one, trading one in for another one. Yeah.
And, you know, the construct that has been spoken about is that this is a trap. It's a recycling. I'm not getting this from this book. What I'm getting from the superior spirits is like, Now,
right.
Not all of us go back through this because many of us accomplish what we came here for. And here's the other thing, and we're going to read this today, is that, folks, many of us don't come back here.
Yeah.
We come back in another planet.
Yep. Remember, Wayne, when I told you I remembered meeting with this group of beings, and we were discussing my objective to come into the incarnation. And I knew it was a mission, and I definitely was not from here. So, and I was like, oh, and they were like, you understand, right? When you go in there, there's a chance you'll get trapped. See, I don't think this is a trap unless you let it trap you. Mm-hmm. So it can become a trap, but it's not built to be a trap. But it can be a trap, because if you can't remember that you're more than this world, when you pass on, they're just going to tell you, oh, you did a good job. You could have done this so much better. Back in a body you go. You don't even know you have options. You have no idea.
Well, I've come upon this last night. I've been reading this, The Lesser Key of Solomon, and it's a mind coitus. But it occurred to me, do you know who's most likely to stay trapped here? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The rich.
That's why it says it would be easier to fit a camel through the eye of a needle.
You get trapped into this whole
the world
material thing, getting riches, collecting. Yes. When you die, baby, you're going to want to get right back into the game because, you know, damn it, you're not going to take it from me.
Yes.
It's true. I mean, you look at where the ultra rich are today, and there's many of them now. They're looking at immortality to escape it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, look at those who try to preserve their life shall surely die. And those who do not try to preserve their life shall live.
I know that
Everything's
proverb well.
folks.
So, by the way, I want to say happy birthday to all of those who are having one. Also, folks, we got some people in our community that, number one, I haven't heard from in a while. Sherry Spears is one. I found out that Caroline is basically homeless, is what I have heard. And, you know, folks, I know that many of us are in difficulty. There's just a lot of people facing that. And I just want you, all of you, is that in your time, when you think of a person, it actually sends energy to them. It can help change their circumstance. And so we just send to those that we haven't seen here. I saw Franny earlier, and it was great to see her. And we just send our love to you, Caroline, Sherry, and the others. We're right there with you. And I know that sometimes sounds very hollow, but yeah, it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, life is a challenge here. And again, I look at this and let me just pull this up. I thought that what we could go over was the PDF. Give me 1 second. Well, you go ahead and talk as I'm staring. Okay. It's like, where did he go?
You know what breaks my heart about this is because I see so many people who are waking up and their frequency shifts, and it gets really hard for a lot of people. And it's because literally, I really do think the whole waking up thing is, they don't want you to be awake. So the ones of us who are waking up, it seems like there's a little bit of resistance for that energetically within the construct, because we are the few. Oh. We are a special group of people, a special group of frequencies. And send everybody who's having any kind of struggle or battle. Literally, they're inside of you. So fill them with love, because if you raise your vibration and you think of them, it's gonna help fix their vibration. And vibration is what attracts the material world around them. So wrap them in bubbles of favor.
Yes. I'm telling you, my spirit guide keeps telling me favor is thing. We said it last week. We're going to get a shirt. We got a couple of people who have set submissions. I'm going to get them different versions, but favor is the new flavor. I think it is potentially could be the pathway for the savior of mankind. I know it sounds very ambitious, but favor, if I say I love you, well, am I talking platonically? Am I talking amorously? But if I say I favor you, Trina, you're going to walk away going far out. Yeah.
Favor, think about it. When you're a little kid, what you always want to be the favorite.
You do.
And favor and favorite are the same. It's the same energy. It's the same frequency. It's like, you're my number one. You're my ultimate joy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful frequency. But do you see how we can have so many layers of favor come into our lives? It's the same thing with love. Love has so many definitions and so many layers and levels. And we need to just start being okay with all the differences within the definitions of words, and kind of just start to understand the frequency and energy, because the frequency kind of speaks first anyways.
It does.
The intention of words before they kind of even speak them. That's part of our internal knowing system. So really dial into how things feel, because a lot of misunderstandings can be dissolved through the feeling of, it doesn't matter that what they're saying doesn't resonate with my mind. It feels okay. So it's okay.
I learned this decades ago, and I'll share this with everybody. Though, if you want to know how your words are on a frequency, There are what we call roch. These are spirit words. These are the words that literally come from the upper diaphragm. It's the what we call the lower ones, which are the guttural, are always the ones that have, you think about any curse word.
Yeah.
They're all guttural. They're all debase, where you say love, favor, I wish only the best for you. I see you in favor. That is spirit. No, anyway, there you go, folks. That was free.
Yep.
So yesterday we covered, I thought, something that was just so far out. We learned what these beings were. They consider themselves to be what they are, the representatives of constituting the spiritual world. I did not really take into grasp. When I think of spirit, when people die, pass over, Trina, I have always envisioned that, that realm, yeah, we say it's vast, but we see it almost inclusive. It never occurred to me that the spiritual world is just that. It's many different worlds.
Yeah, I see one of them literally, it's like 3 feet above our heads.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've literally seen the dimensions starting like literally 3 feet over our heads. They are literally right in the same. They're very accessible.
Yes.
And I think that's why we get the bleed throughs, because literally one of these layers is literally, it is just over our heads, like 3 feet above our heads.
I contend some of us actually, the higher the frequency of the individual, the more susceptible they're going to be to interact with that corresponding energy, whatever dimension it may be.
Yes.
Well, cool. All right. They say that they constitute the spiritual world as we on the earthly life constitute the corporeal world. Mm-hmm. I love this. God is eternal, immutable, immaterial, unique, all-powerful, sovereignly just, and good. I got to tell you, that transcends all religions.
And the sovereignly just, wow, that is powerful. And that is beautiful. Sovereignly just. That means there is nothing that can rule over you other than you. And you will be just in your ruling and justified in your ruling of. That is so powerful to me. That rang me like a bell of truth.
I love it, because that's exactly it. I mean, I think many of us are going to be surprised that when you do the examination and you go before, those who are going to be judging you, and they're not judging you, you're going to find you're the only one in the courtroom.
Yes.
It's going to be, he has created the universe, which comprehends all beings, animate and inanimate, material and immaterial. Boy, I mean, the material beings constitute the visible or corporeal world. The immaterial beings constitute the invisible or spiritual world. That is to say, the spirit world or world of spirits.
Yeah, and I keep seeing when I hear that is matter versus antimatter.
Yeah.
Polarity. I see the polarity again. The seen versus the unseen, the visible versus the invisible, but they're connected through that superior energy, which would be God, that substance that holds it all together. But everything is connected within this construct of polarity. Everything's got its opposite. It's amazing.
It is. And I got to tell you, I've been an advocate of this, but I am becoming so much more comfortable in approaching this world, this realm. And our technology is allowing us to actually become more. I'll be talking about this a little bit more, but I actually got myself a ghost box along with some EVP equipment. And so as I'm going to be putting these magic circles together and, meditating in there, I want to see if I can actually capture the voices of the spirits.
Yeah, you will.
I believe I will too. I think we'll be discussing it here. Trina, far out.
Oh my God, no doubt, Wayne, no doubt.
That was classic. No doubt. All right.
Just keeping it real, friend. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. That's exactly it. So the spirit world is the normal. I mean, yeah, the primitive, eternal world, pre-existent to and surviving everything else. Yeah. You know what? When I read that, and when you meditate on that, and you get that full impact, I want to get up and dance. I mean, I know. I want to get Aretha Franklin going on. I mean, this is good news.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
This means that we have done this before, guys.
We have. Thank you.
Our first rodeo. We have rode this bucking bronco before.
Yeah, we have. Material beings constitute the visible or corporeal world. The immaterial beings constitute invisibility. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. The corporeal world is only secondary. It might cease to exist or never have existed without changing the essentiality of the spiritual world. Mm-hmm. I mean, folks, come on. Spirits, go ahead.
Yeah, energy first. Energy first. They always say energy first. I think we're way more we're way more familiar in the spiritual realm. I think the physical realm is one of the most challenging because I think it's one of the only places you get totally like separated from source. Like you're kind of cut off because the physical body is made to do that. It's a testing and it's to see, I don't know why it's all done the way it is, but it seems like our physical bodies are one of the hardest bodies to be in because you're so densed down. The subtle frequencies of creation, you are literally cut off from them because they're so subtle, you cannot perceive them.
That's what they said yesterday, that our five senses were never designed for understanding that which could, when I was used to in deliverance and literally casting out demons, the one thing I found about these beings, the reason why they have such a violent reaction in a human body is that they're exposed to the five senses for the first time.
Yes.
And it is unbearable for them.
Yes.
It would be unbearable for most humans to immediately be exposed to a group of senses that you have nothing to compare to.
Yes. And I think it might be the same way when we die. I think when you pass over, you might want to just chill out for a little bit and get your wits about you. Because I think it takes a little bit for one system of the way you think to integrate into your new body. And then your new body will start to integrate with you like you're integrated now with your physical body. I think when you drop your physical body, you need to go through an integration period with your own self to integrate with your spirit body. And then once you do that, you're going to be so happy because I think that this body, the spiritual body, I think it feels a lot better than the physical body. And I think it has a lot more understanding of the fullness of who you are as an individual soul.
I agree. And many people, if you believe in a heaven, hell, I hope you don't, but that construct will be around for you, but that'll dissipate. And very much what it says here, spirits temporarily assume a perishable material envelope. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what this is. The destruction of which by death restores them to liberty.
Yes, freedom. Liberty.
Freedom. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Among the different species of corporeal beings, God has chosen the human species for the incarnation of spirits arrived at a certain degree of development. Now, I wanted to point this out yesterday, and I'm glad we're having a second look at this. that right there tells me we're not all humans here, folks.
Yep.
We're all not of the same tribe here. That's exactly what they're saying. And look at it. It apparently
with the zoo dial, the zodiac, the zoo dial, 12 different opportunities, 12 different species brought into one construct.
And apparently you have to have a certain degree of development, which gets you here. And it is this which gives a moral and intellectual superiority to all others. I've been meditating on this, Trina. We are a special group.
That's what I was told, Wayne. That's what I told those kids. They were warriors, because that's what I was told. Because I was really upset when I was a teenager, and I was like, I was having suicidal thoughts or whatever. I mean, I was like 13. But you know what? They told me, they were like, don't you dare give up. They like, you guys were chosen. You are the warriors, and it's gonna be hard. So pull up your bootstraps. I mean, they were like, don't you dare. And because literally I was going to attempt it, and they stopped it. And they told me they stopped it. They brought in an intervention. They literally possessed my brother with an angel and broke my door down. I
believe it.
They did, straight up. So with that, they were like, don't you dare. Because, and then when I had my whole God spell completely broken was when I realized that this, my spirit guide could have been a soul trap for me, because I was giving all my energy to a being outside of myself. Mm-hmm. And when I realized that, that was another time I was like, oh, don't you guys be messing with me, because if this meat suit is going to trap me, I'm like, I'll drop this bad boy right now, and I'm like, and it ain't about pity, it ain't about I'm sad, it's about, oh, I don't think so. So I got freaked out, and I'm like, if I'm worshiping false idols, if this whole construct's a lie, I'm like, I'm out, and I'm I'm getting out while I still got my brain and my wits about me. And that's when I had the whole, you are released from the bondage of the watery grave of which you slept. My child, you've now been set free from the bondage of the serpent. And that was my God spell completely removed. Boom.
I love it. I mean, I think many of us have these same moments. I mean, for myself, I mean, when the core is completely shattered, you have to rebuild it. But as I look at my life now, the mission is becoming much more clear. I get it now. I see my past, what's happened in this life, the near-death experiences, everything that has happened.
Yes.
And now I'm going, I think I'm getting this. I mean, and you know what? It gets you charged up. And it does.
Yeah, when I got a little older too, Wayne, when I'd get discouraged with the world, they'd be like, don't you remember we told you this is Harvard? So this is one of the hardest places you can go for soul evolution and growth. This place is the Mac Daddy.
It's graduate school. This is PhD.
It's level. It is high level graduate school. Like,
I love this.
Level. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go to so many other places and get basic degrees, but you cannot get anything like what you can get on Earth. And it must be too also because of where we're at on the timeline. So they were like, other times on Earth, you could only get a bachelor's degree. They're like, but where you're at right now, people are waiting in line to get in on this experience because it's a make it or break it situation going down.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, I get the sense, and this is why I'm trying to get all the technology I can mixed with how the conjurers spoke to the spirit realm. And I get this sense that we are in the midst of something. We are in the midst, Trina, of, well, you can call it a new age. It's happening. It's happening now. And it's going to be curious to see.
That I saw Pentecost. My kids have this picture Bible, and I like say fire shooting out of her.
I love it. That is so far out.
I swear that's like literally what just came totally in my head. I see people walking around with fires just flying out of their heads and out of their mouths with wisdom, and channeling the higher good and the higher wisdom and reconnecting to their own soul and spirit.
And channeling is what all of us do.
You do it when you pray. Yeah, you do it all the time.
Do it all the time. I thought, Trina, that we could maybe just while we had time, because there are some interesting new responses that these angels had. This is the creation of the worlds. They go on to say, was the universe created, or has it existed for all eternity like God? And they answered, the universe obviously could not have made itself. If it had existed for eternity as God has, it could not be God's work. And I'm going to go through on this a little bit more tomorrow, but I wanted to get into some interesting things. All right. How did God create the universe? Using a well-known expression, God's will, nothing can give a better idea of this all-powerful will that those striking words contained in the book of Genesis. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Can we know how the worlds were created? All that we can say, and that you are capable of understanding, is that the worlds were created by the condensation of matter distributed throughout space. And that's what you were saying.
Yeah, and you know what's really weird? When you just read that to me, I just heard Vulcan. God's will. Vulcan. I wonder if Vulcan was one of our original sons or something.
Could be.
Very strange. That just came in. Will of God, Vulcan. It's like, interesting.
I love this.
There's something with these hidden planets connected to our hidden senses.
I agree.
Abilities. I'm telling you, it's either this planet Nibiru system coming in and it's got 5 friends, or there's 5 already here that we just do not know about and are not aware of, but we're connected to them through our chakra system. Just like the 7 we can see is the 7 chakras we know. The 7 ones that we can see, those are the ones the Bible tells you about, but you don't know about the 5 hidden. And we're going to figure this out.
41 may be answering your question on that. Can a completely formed world disappear and have its matter then be redistributed throughout space? The superior spirits answered, yes.
Yes.
God renews
sense to me.
He renews worlds just as living beings are renewed.
Yep.
Talking with the planets, man. I'm going to tell you what, it's so weird how all of this. Can we know the length of time required to create worlds? Earth, for instance. They answered, I cannot answer this question because only the Creator knows. The person who claims to possess such knowledge or knowing how many centuries were required for such information would be foolish.
Yes.
The next one, I read this and I said, we got to talk about, when did the population of Earth first begin? In the beginning, there was only chaos. The elements were in a state of confusion, but they gradually settled into their proper places. Once this happened, living beings capable of adapting to the various successive states of the planet appeared accordingly.
Yep. That's what I saw. I saw a soup of stuff that's magical light stuff, and it's like a womb, and then the vibration, which is produced from the inspiration or the wisdom or intelligence of spirit. And when those hit together, it gets consciousness of its program. It understands what it is, and it starts to form. And then they showed me like algae, Adam, Lilith, Gabriel. And they were like, that's your soup. And I was like, algae? Oh my God, that's weird.
Oh. It says, from where did the living beings of Earth originate? Get this. The seeds were contained in the earth itself, awaiting for the opportune moment for their development. Organic principles came together once the force that kept them apart was broken. Those principles formed the seeds of all the living beings that populated the earth. Those seeds remained dormant, like the seeds of plants, until the arrival of the right moment for the birth of each species. The members of each species came together, then multiplied.
Wow, that's your dream, Wayne. When you went and you got your white oval, that was your seed.
Yeah, boy, did I get a lot. I got several emails from the Middle East on that one. Boy, that one really struck a chord with people.
Yeah, it did me too. And I had the same one, but mine was a crystal seed, yours was a white opal seed, but mine was a clear opalescent seed. Mine was clear, but with colors in it. And yours was like more white. But I'm telling you, we're seeing the same things, just a little bit different based on our perceptions.
Yes. And that's the uniqueness of it.
Yes. Fullness of creation, all the different ways we see the same things. Beautiful.
Where were the organic elements before the formation of the earth? The spirits answered, they existed in the fluid state in space with the spirits or on other planets, awaiting the creation of earth to begin a new life in a new world.
Wow.
Exactly. I went, whoa.
It resonates with me. This, like I said, this book is like, it hit a chord inside me that's just screaming, pay attention. Like I watched it twice yesterday. I did. I couldn't get enough. I'm like, this just makes so much sense to what I've been shown. So amazing. I love this information.
It corresponds with everything we've been talking about.
Yeah, it just feels right.
So he writes here, he says, chemistry shows us the molecules of inorganic bodies merging to produce invariable crystals for each species. Once the conditions are right for their combination, the slightest disturbance of those conditions can block the union of material elements, or at least prevent the methodical arrangement of the latter, which constitutes the crystal. Holy crap, folks. This is so, Karen, Queen of Quartz. This is what we're doing here. This crystal network, folks, this is blowing my mind. Let me continue.
Wow.
Exactly. Is there a reason why this same process cannot take place among organic elements? We preserve the seeds of plants and animals for years, which are then only born at certain temperatures and under certain conditions. Wheat seeds have been known to sprout after centuries. This demonstrates that there is a dormant principle of vitality in seeds, which awaits favorable circumstances to develop. Is it not possible then that that which takes place right before our eyes every day also has taken place at the birth of our planet? Does this creation of living beings by the force of nature amidst chaos detract in any way from the awe-inspiring power and glory of God? Quite the opposite. In fact, the interpretation of creation presented by us is more consistent than any other with our sense of God exerting power over all the worlds of infinity through eternal laws. This theory does not resolve the origin of vital elements, but God has mysteries and puts limits on our investigations. Are any living beings born spontaneously? Yes. But the original seeds already existed in a dormant state. You witness this phenomenon on a daily basis. For instance, the tissues of the human body and animals contain germs of many parasites waiting for the fermentation needed for their life. It is a small world of microscopic beings that is dormant, waiting to be created.
Bingo. It's what I saw when they showed me algae. They were like, and the seeds are created from the highest level, like creation points. And like within each one of our seeds, we have a specific, like 12 personalities, energies, attributes, and those are your strengths and your weaknesses. Because I think it comes from 6. But the 6 has the polarity within it. It has the darkness and it has the light. So you've got 6 in the day and 6 in the evening in this construct. This is what they show me.
And I just got a mental impression, the algae I think you were seeing could very well be representative of a fluid.
Yes, and then the fluid was the essence of them.
Yes, thank you.
The essence was in the water, and then through that essence of Adam, Lilith, Gabriel, and Eve, they formed algae, bacteria, and things started to grow from that essence. It literally brought the primordial codes from spirit into matter.
Bingo.
And that was what I saw.
And the library Lilith told us this in her book. It's so odd. Was the human species among the organic elements contained in the earth? Yes, it arrived at the opportune moment. The saying that human beings were formed out of the dust of the earth is very true. Can we determine the time of the appearance of humans and other living beings on earth? No, your calculations are illusions.
Yep.
If the seeds of human species were among the organic elements of the earth, why is it that human beings are not produced spontaneously today as they originally were? Get this answer. The principle of things is one of God's secrets. Nevertheless, it may be asserted that the first humans absorbed the elements necessary for their creation to transfer said elements according to the laws of reproduction.
Production.
Woo! The same may be said in regard to all different species of living beings.
Copies, copies, copies. Oh my God.
So I can see this. I mean, we get this image of something, the cockamamie garden story. And, you know, listen, all right, whatever you want to believe. But the point is, I can see this essence, Trina, what we call us.
Mm-hmm.
They absorbed, and this is what Lilith said. We absorbed that spark of divinity.
Yeah.
It's saying the same thing.
I know. It's so weird because I think the more of us start to look into these ancient old ways, you're going to start waking up and all of us are going to see the same things, but just in maybe a little bit of a different way. But the essence is probably all going to match because that's the meaning and definition of truth. It doesn't matter how you look at it or see it. It's always going to be the same. It's going to stand true. And
the laws of reproduction, I get this. I really do. I mean, absorbing that essence, that fluid, whatever it is, and our species with this unique ability that we pass that on to, you know, our progeny.
You know, when you keep talking about the fluid in the water, I keep hearing, you know, they said it was primordial. I keep hearing every time I see the word primordial, I see prime mover.
Oh, and I just saw, what I just heard is primer.
What's that?
Okay, in mathematics, when
See,
you
I
begin
saw prime mover and you saw primer. Wow.
Yeah. So a primer is the what you would call the cornerstone that would unlock a mathematical formula.
Oh my God.
It is the coexistent, the cosine that brings the formula together.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
That's what I hear.
Wow. I like your word better than mine.
Well, I mean, that's what I heard. So
I like yours, primer. I didn't even know what that was. So yeah, I like it. But I heard prime mover. Is that kind of similar?
It's the same thing. Absolutely.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
There's a symbiosis there. Definitely. All right. This is where we get into it, folks. Population of Earth, Adam. Did the human race begin with one man only? Answer, no. The man known as Adam was neither the first nor the only man who populated the earth.
Yep.
Question, is it possible to determine when Adam lived? Answer, Adam lived approximately around the time that you attributed to him, about 4,000 years before Christ. Now, this gets real interesting. The man that we refer to as Adam was one of the people who survived one of the great disasters that changed the Earth's surface over the course of history. He became the foundation of one of the races that populated our planet today. The laws of nature dictate that it would be impossible for the amount of progress that we know to have been accomplished by humanity long before Christ to have been accomplished so quickly if it had only existed since the time of Adam. Some have dubbed the story of Adam a myth and allegory personifying the earliest ages of the world, a belief that currently stands as the most reasonable. Diversity of the human race. What causes the physical and moral differences in the diversity of human race on Earth? Answer: climate, lifestyles, and habits. The same differences are produced in two children born to the same mother but raised apart from each other under different conditions, bear no moral resemblance to each other. Was mankind born at various points around the planet? Yes, and at various times. This is one of the causes of diversity in the human race. The earliest people spread out across different climates and combined with other races, which formed new ethnic groups. Do these differences constitute different species? Of course not. All of these different people are a single family. Do the differences between the varieties of some fruit stop them from being the same species? Isn't this fascinating?
That is beautiful. I believe that's true.
I do too. If the human species cannot be traced back to a single ancestor, should humans stop regarding one another as brothers and sisters? Answer: under God, all human beings are brothers and sisters, animated by a spirit and having the same goal. The human mind is inclined to interpret words literally. Existence of multiple worlds. Are all the planets that revolve in space inhabited? Yes. And the people on Earth are far from being the leaders in an intelligence, goodness, and general development, despite what they may believe. There are many people who have such a high opinion of themselves and even believe that your little world alone has the privilege of being inhabited by intelligent beings. What an arrogant thought. They believe that God has created the universe only for them. God has populated planets with living beings, all of which have a role in the ultimate divine plan. Believing that living beings are confined to one point in the universe inhabited by us casts doubts on God's wisdom. God has done nothing in vain and must have assigned a purpose to every other world that is more important than merely serving as a lovely backdrop for our planet. Furthermore, there is nothing in the position, size, or physical makeup of Earth that warrants the assumption that it is alone, of the thousands of planets in space, had the privilege of being inhabited. Do all planets have the same physical constitution? No, they do not resemble one another at all. Question: as physical constitution of various planets, is it not the same for all? Do the beings inhabiting those worlds have different types of body and physical makeup? Answer: of course. Just as a fish in your world are designed for living in water and birds for the air. Are the planets furthest removed from the sun deprived of light and heat, since the sun only appears to be a tiny star to them? Are you assuming that there are no other sources of light and heat than the sun? Are you completely dismissing electricity, which in some worlds plays a role unknown to you and which is much more important than the role it plays on Earth? Besides, how do you know these things? How do you know that these beings of those worlds see the same way you do, like your organs? Comment. I mean, I get carried away on this, Trina. It just
no, well, I'm right with you, Wayne. This is fascinating information. I mean, it is literally, this is some of the biggest hidden stuff that they do not want anybody seeing.
I'm going to stop right there because I'd like us to talk a little bit. And I know, folks, this is good stuff, man. But last week we were dealing with the Talisman of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And when I showed people the temple, the Jewish temple, and I told everyone, I said, this is an electrical diagram. Whoever thought of this has to be a being of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
They just said that.
Yes. Remember when you were showed me the tabernacle thing, or what was
Yeah.
that on the?
Yeah.
And I saw a face.
Yeah.
I like saw a human mind, like I saw like a robot, human mind, but a robot.
Yeah. I actually had a guy that is an electrical engineer, and he said, you just blew me away.
Yeah.
He said, everything that you were showing me on these sigils, he said, those are electrical circuits. See? Yes. There you go. Exactly.
And the Ark of the Covenant, there's something with the Ark, like the brain, the spark in the brain, the spark of the fires in us. It's an arc, and arcs come from a spark, from electricity. So this is bigger than we know.
It is. It's huge.
This is what I was doing like 2:00 in the morning. 369.
I love it. Well, there's something being communicated there. It's happening to a lot of us.
Yeah, it was like 369. They were talking about energy, electricity, frequency, and vibration.
Wow. By the way, Julianne Payne, thank you, dear. Right before we came here, I got my mail. By the way, I love this. So I got this. This is not the cover. This is the cover. It's a beautiful book of poetry that she has written, and I'm going to get her on. I mean, some of this stuff, I'll have to have her look at that.
Wow.
Julie is a very special one in the community. The whole book is like this, Trina. It is just incredible. We're learning something. This whole thing that they're telling us about this fluid, we're going to get into it more tomorrow. There are 3 basic different fluids that we don't have any concept of. And electricity is apparently one of them.
Yeah. Magnetics is another part of it.
And that's what you get with electricity is magnetism, magnetics.
Yep. They make each other. It's another one of those hidden trinities.
And that is so true. You know, Frater in his book in Conjuring Spirits, he said that you have to assume a Godhead mindset. Yeah. And for a lot of people, that's foreign. They say, well, how could you put me in there in the Godhead? But
because the 0 point, when you get into neutrality, you open up to the Godhead.
Yeah, and I contend, I think these bodies are temples.
Yeah.
That the superior spirits have told us, if you're here on planet Earth, then congratulations.
Yeah.
Get busy helping others. Get busy loving people, speaking favor. Get busy learning your own magic. Your magic are your words. Go ahead, Trina.
Get busy planting new seeds.
Yes. I always am drawn back to Ecclesiastics and also in Genesis, as long as there's seed time and harvest time, yes, we can all continue to plant seeds. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think sometimes we have to learn to become, I think, much more, I don't know, tolerant isn't the word, because tolerant doesn't work. Today, we're the least tolerant I've ever seen.
I think it's time to start bringing something new in.
Yeah.
And I think like the smallest acts of going out, you know, planting a tree, literally planting a tree. I have a feeling we're having a lot of problems with trees right now, and a lot of the trees are dying. So how about all of us go and just buy some kind of a seed, some kind of a tree, and start growing some some small trees inside your home. So in the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, because see, a lot of trees take a long time to grow,
They do.
evergreens. So this way, when everything settles down, then we have more stuff to plant. I keep seeing like real small, real solutions that will make a huge difference on this planet. And one of them is I keep seeing over and over again. It's like, guys, it's time to start planting some seeds. But we have to care for them ourselves. We have to become the gardeners. And a lot of them are going to need to be indoors because we've had crazy weather. So plant seeds, bring stuff into the world.
I mean, where I live, about 15 years ago, 20 years, this beetle came through and killed just millions and millions of trees here in Colorado. Then
Arizona got hit with them too. There's big patches in Arizona with them too.
Oh, just millions of acres.
Yeah.
And last 2 years ago, we had this thing called the ash beetle, emerald boar ash. And now all the ash trees here are now infected, dying, including mine. So, yeah, it's everywhere.
Go put a sigil on your tree. I'm telling you.
Excuse me. I think I might do that.
Yeah, because it might shift the vibration and make the beetle leave it alone. So at least we'll have a mature old tree.
You know what? Yeah. I'm going to do that, madam.
Yeah, protect it.
I like that.
Protect it. I'm telling you, we need to start protecting everything we can.
You see, this is why we're here, folks. Yeah. I was just looking at some of them.
We were going to be the new guardians of Earth.
I think Earth's going through some changes. I think that we know it. We know that as Suji, we've had other people that the Schumann resonance is whacked out. She's been telling us that the change is coming. To use an expression, the labor pains are getting more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, I've never had labor. I passed kidney stones, and they say that for a guy, that's about as close to becoming, experiencing labor. But
yes, absolutely right. You know, Wayne, I know this sounds crazy, but I've done a lot of research on that, and Dr. Wallach and a lot of the other guys who specialize in that say kidney stones are calcium deficiency.
Well, I don't have them anymore.
Yay!
Oh yeah, this was decades ago. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but people that do, you might want to look at that because it's something's going wrong with calcium in the body.
Yeah, I got delivered from that a long time ago. But I'll tell you, when I was in my 30s,
I think it is close to giving birth because I've seen that. And I've given birth with no drugs twice. So if I know the pain.
I literally bent.
I had no rescue with that. And that was not on purpose. I am not I was going to be all natural mom. No.
No, I don't like pain.
I don't get no badge for that because no. I was given drugs. So yeah, but they just didn't work. So unfortunately, when they don't work, they don't work. So ouch. I didn't get no good drugs for that. So
yeah.
But the pain, it looks kind of similar. It'll drop you to your knees and make you turn white, start sweating. Yeah, that's about what it is.
As I said, it'll make you cry, mama. It's like, oh boy. Oh, well, there you go, Trina. An hour just went by like that.
Oh, Wayne, it goes too fast.
This is stuff that I do believe. And we just put it out there. I mean, you make your own decision, but I just believe for myself, it just answers so much. So, yeah.
For me, it's like confirmation. Hallelujah. Oh, my gosh. It's like, oh, man, it's so good because when you see things like this, and it's like, first of all, it's hard to even put them into words. That takes time just to formulate words for these things. And I think that's why we can't ask God for anything new is because we don't have the words for them.
Ooh.
So we work on pictures because pictures are first anyway. So maybe not worrying about the words is the secret to the key to our success is that we don't need to worry about a word for it. We just need to find the vision.
That's brilliant. We don't have any new words.
Yeah. And we got to make new ones. Like Seven Bomar, he made a new word called interverse.
Universe.
That is a brilliant word.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
a brilliant word.
Um,
Yeah, we need to maybe make new words up and new vision, and because that'll bring in the new information, because then we'll be able to ask, because we don't need to ask with words, we can ask with pictures, we can
mm,
ask with symbols, you can ask any way you want, and then the universe will match that need and that desire, and it will bring things into our reality that we can either blend together, or we'll get it from another concept that's kind of similar, and we'll start to be able to form new words or new frequencies and new information from the creator by using the desire to receive it.
mm-hmm. I believe that.
Me
I
too.
mean, I think that's so often, and we'll talk more about it, but I mean, that is exactly it. A mantra is fine, but I think when you become almost repetitious in prayer or whatever, I don't know about you, but if I was to talk with somebody and all they were doing was consistently saying the same thing over and over again, I'd go, I don't have time for this.
Right.
All right.
Like I said,
Okay.
it's so important we're all finding our own way, because none of us are the same. We're all different, and we're all here because whatever your essence is, they were like, we need you here now. Because like I said, I tried to get out. I was kicking and screaming, and I got, boom, slammed in my baby body, and they locked that little door on top of my head, said, ha ha. And I was like, oh, lights out. So we're here for a reason. I'm positive of that.
Oh, I love this.
I'm like, I just remember, I was like, oh, darn it. Oh, here I go. So I knew it was going to be hard.
Sons of bitches. All right. All right, Miss Trina, let me know what time next week we get a chance to get together. And folks, I've left her contact information. Hey, this is about, as you know, I like this. This is the common man and woman's show here. I mean,
We're just learning.
and we're not saying that we're anything great. We're just saying
No.
we're trying to feel our way around. All right, folks, we love you. We'll see you next time. Miss Trina, you want to say goodbye?
I just love you guys. Thanks for going on this journey. And you guys are helping me put so many pieces together in my mind. And then, like, I was really asking some serious questions about all this stuff. And then you started reading that book yesterday, Wayne. I'm like, this is wonderful.
I'm telling you, with no exaggeration, the emails are people that are writing about this book. They're saying, where can I get it? Where can I get it? And yeah. So, all right. Much love to everyone. Trina, stay with me, and we'll see y'all tomorrow at the same time. Thanks, folks. Thanks, moderators. Everyone that was here. I didn't say hello to you, but this time we just got directly into the subject matter. All right. Bye-bye. Much love.